Okay, this is State of Mind on Sunday, and I have somebody very special. If you like what you see, hit the little subscribe button. We're climbing, and I love it. Thank you guys. I wanted to do a State of Mind kind of tribute to General Hospital when I first started, and I was Sonny, and also my third nervous breakdown. I wanted to get a perspective from the other side of how other people saw what happened in that beginning, and also talk about the age storyline. Since I had Kimberly on, I had Michael Sutton, Shelley Curtis, and I will say the king of it all at that time, but it's a queen. But to me, she was the king. I'm gonna get emotional on this one because I think this person saved my career for sure. Could have fired me because I was 3 weeks into the gig and I had a breakdown. We'll get more into that. Her name is Wendy Riche. She has about 150 Emmys between the Bay and General Hospital. I like to kiss people's ass before they start. And she's just, she was there in the beginning, hired me, whatever that means to anybody. And here she is. How you doing?
My heart is beating. You've brought me to my knees. I love you too.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Been a while.
It's been like, I don't know how many, too many years. First of all, I want to, what I like to do is tell the story. I'm going to tell the story before I started with you. Mm-hmm. And then how that happened when Paula drove me to have the meeting with you. Mm-hmm. I was out of work for 2 years. I had played Desi Arnaz in a TV movie. Right. And I went broke after that. Let's just call it like it is. My mom and dad helped me out with money, and I owed people money, and this and that, my friend Ray. But I said to Paula, I said, I'm not doing a soap opera again, because I felt like that's failing. Mm-hmm. Because I had already done all my children, and I came out here, I thought I got things right away, right? And I thought, no, I want to do movies. Came close to Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and this and that, and that didn't happen. And amazingly, after that didn't happen, Paula says to me, General Hospital wants to have a meeting. And I said, no, fuck that.
How long are you married at that time?
Well, this is what she said. I said, I don't want to do soap. And she looked at me, she goes, honey, we're broke. I said, all right. So she drives me to General Hospital. I walk in, she's waiting in the car. Mm-hmm. And it was you and Shelley Curtis. And you guys were so sweet. So I just take it from there, and then you take it from there. I walk in, this actor, at 30 years old. What happens?
Well, first of all, you walked into a room where two people love what they do.
Yeah.
And love each other and are comfortable in their own skin and love your work.
Yeah.
So it was, as I recall, I mean, it was a joy to meet you. You were everything we expected. We, again, seen your work. So we knew you could do what we needed. We knew you could do Sonny.
Yes.
The question was, will you do Sonny?
Yeah. But I didn't give the impression that I wouldn't do it, right?
No, it's just
I was just listening a lot.
Yeah, and I think that anybody who has, I mean, when you step out of daytime and you do other things for somebody to come back, there's a psychological nudge, on your ego, on your life. I mean, there just is, and this is a very difficult business, and it's very judging of age and what you've done, what's your last credit, and how many years ago was that, and well, they can still act, well, they can still direct, but it's 5 years. So it's hard, and so for you to come back in, we were both aware that was, I don't know whether Paula had mentioned that or not.
No, what happened...
But we knew that had to be on your mind a little.
Yeah, look, obviously at that point, I was so, didn't have money for a while that I was like, something has to happen at this point. And sitting with you guys, I felt like, but I have to say, if you guys weren't you guys, and what's amazing, now that I'm just talking to you, it was the right fit.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to understand, if it wasn't the right fit, then 3 weeks later I quit.
Right.
That's why it was the right fit from up above.
Yeah.
I will say this. I remember you saying you have 2 roles. You may not remember.
I don't. What?
I'm going to tell you what you said. There was 2 roles. One was Damien.
Oh.
And I said, well, what's Damien? She said, well, he's in the mob and this and that. And I said, well, how long's that role? And you said 2 years. I said, and then you said, but Shelley, is there another? What's the other role? And she goes, oh, his name's Sonny, and he's a nightclub owner, strip club, whatever. And I said, well, how long is that role? And you said 6 months. I said,
that's the one. That's so
I said, Sonny's a cool name.
Yeah.
Strip club. And
6 months.
And 6 months.
It didn't have to be a big
We're
commitment.
Good. But we ended up doing a year.
Yeah.
We ended up doing a year. And I walked out of there not knowing that this was going to be what it ended up being, which is this big thing, right? For me, 28 years of this. But I ended up knowing that this was right for the moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think in those moments we know that, and that's why we make those decisions. There are times we make decisions that, are not so perfect, but there was something in that moment that made us do it. And in that moment, I know there was a comfort. There still is.
Yes.
I haven't seen you in so long. I feel the same.
I know.
When I speak to Paula, it's like,
well, let me tell you,
it is like family, and it's I don't say that lightly. There is a trust. I never lied to you. You never lied to me. You knew I would never lie to you.
Right. But it's funny because you to me are the same. I've changed because me at that time, I was intense.
Yeah.
And I was nervous all the time.
Yeah.
And everything was almost a challenge, and where now I'm calm.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't need to prove anything.
Age, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it work?
Yes, age and what I've been through with all my mental health. You know what it does? Like with what I went through last year. When you come out of that kind of pain and that kind of trauma and you overcome it, you go 2 ways. You either go a worse way, or you come out a champ.
On a new path.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So here we are, and I told you in that meeting that as long as they don't tell me to talk louder.
That I remember. And I was like,
because on all my children, man, that was the worst. And the first day, you don't even know this. The first day, it was Joe Behar. Remember Joe Behar?
I love
how
Joe.
tough he was, right?
Yeah.
God, Joe Behar.
Bless him.
Yeah.
You got a call down to talk louder.
Yeah. And not only once or twice, it was 3 times.
Oh, shit.
And I remember saying, nope, not doing it.
Yeah.
And that took balls because I just started.
Yeah.
But I said, that's going to mess my acting and I'm not going to. And
it was cool.
And it was cool. And it was, you guys allowed me, I told Shelley this when she was on, you guys allowed me to do this kind of small act, this subtle acting and almost whispering, which, you didn't have to.
Character was
Yeah.
more important. The writing.
Oh, that's a good one.
The writing was there,
Yes.
and the story was there, and our interest was in character
Yes.
and acting and performance, and do it.
Yes.
Bring it on, and you
I love
brought it
that.
in a unique and different way that was unique and different and filmic.
Yes, that's what I'm.
It was filmic. We felt we were we didn't fool ourselves what we were doing, but I remember when I first got there, I had never seen a soap opera. I think I'd seen it once. Well, I watched the show for a couple of weeks, but I was kind of rushed in.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know, but what I do know is everything that we do is certainly in daytime or anywhere. It's a little film. It's a little film each day or a little film each year, whatever it is.
I love it.
And I spoke to all of the crew and said, we're doing a little film, so do your best. Bring, thoughts and everything forward as to what you're thinking and want to do. And you're that kind of an actor that we knew would bring something different.
Yes.
And that's that you could bring something really unique. We were always looking for everybody to bring something unique and different. And you did that with your voice, with your quiet moments, with your
Yes.
with your movements.
Yes.
With your attitude.
Now, do you remember? I tell everybody this.
My 3 worst words. Do you remember?
I was maybe being a pain in the ass. I don't know what I was doing. I was whatever. And you came down to my room, and it changed me. It changed. I don't know. It made me think. Okay, yeah, she's right. You said to me.
What did I say?
You said to me, I know you think this is Godfather 4 or The Godfather.
Uh-huh.
You always have to remember it's a soap opera.
Uh-huh.
Not how you film it or the attitude I had. Maybe I didn't want to do this.
Oh.
You get me?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know you think the way I think in terms of it's not a soap opera. It's all a movie in a sense.
Yeah, but it's a soap opera.
But it's
like I said, we didn't fool ourselves as to what we were doing.
And
I wonder what you were doing.
That I don't remember. Right. I might have been like saying no to something in the script. That's kind of what maybe I would have done that or something. And when you said that, and I still tell people to this day.
Great.
And people go, wow, that's cool. Because it puts an actor like me who, look, I always believed I was doing The Godfather. I always did. And I even lost my mind because of it in the first 3 weeks. But you can't stay at that expectation because you're going to get screwed.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. This is YouTube. We can say fuck.
It's fine. Fuck. Screw. Yeah. Because of the energy of the intensity of what that takes.
And you have to think of the other people.
Yeah.
I like this talk right here. You have to think of the other actors and the director.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name any names. Some people are a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, no, I'm not going to walk over there. No, I'm not going to do it. Why am I walking here? Why am I walking there? This isn't the nature of... We have to do, especially now, the way things are. You can't sit around. We used to, remember when the directors
used
come
to
out.
Negotiate.
Yeah. It was,
oh my God.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But so that's a great thing that you said, and it's a great thing that I'll keep saying.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important for actors to know that you got to think about other people.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important for producers also to know that the actors have a different, hopefully the same, but also a different sense of the character. And
Yes.
very often they will bring, often, something that you didn't think of. The same as the writers will think of something that the actor doesn't think of. So I found that discussion
Yes.
or debate was ongoing with a lot of the actors, because if an actor would say, well, my character would never do that. Well, what about X, Y, Z, C? And they say, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Well, that's right. 10 writers in the back room thought of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Or, well, if I move over there, will that, you know, if there's a reason, and it's good to hear if you have the time.
If you have the
If
time.
you have the time. And not that we had a lot of time, but we had luxury compared to what you're doing today.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I know.
It was, and what we used to do back then.
Not luxury, but we had time.
Yeah, what we used to do back then was 6, 7, 8 pages, which makes for better. It is better than 2 pages that we got now. It's like, those 8. Sometimes the richness in those.
Well, you could dig in, and
Right.
that was one of the things that we loved, and it was also something Claire brought, were longer scenes. Damn. You know,
It's hard though.
Of course it's hard.
Even for
I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, the memory thing,
it's
I
hard.
don't get.
Yeah.
But I'm awed by it. But you do it.
Yeah.
You know, you get your script a couple of days in advance, and you're already. I remember Vanessa telling me this. Well, I've got 3 backed up, and and they all have X, and I'm
Yeah.
in. Maurice and I are in almost every scene.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, I don't know how you.
Vanessa Marcel, she, I don't know if you know who she is. She plays, what does she play?
Brenda Barrett.
Yeah, Brenda Barrett, yeah.
Everybody watching knows.
So I want to talk about, there's a few things I want to talk about, but I want to talk about, so when maybe the first, because when I started the show, I was going through a nervous breakdown, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see, if anything, or you had to have seen something in the camera, in my eyes, or you just thought, this guy's a method actor who's just so methody, or he's messed up right now?
I think that's all those things.
Okay.
But so you were vulnerable. You were very vulnerable
Right.
when you came to us.
Yes.
When Paula called
Yes.
and said, Maurice can't. I think you need to talk to him. And because she knew, because she always knows, right?
Yeah.
What you need.
Yeah.
And so you came up and you spoke with us. And, you know, you were broken, you were vulnerable. And
Now this is after I quit or before I quit?
before.
Oh, I don't
right
remember
before,
this. I don't remember this.
Well, we had a meeting. I think it was the first day.
So what did we talk about? Fuck, I don't
We
remember.
talked about, as I recall, we're going back 28 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Damn.
We talked about,
That I was bipolar?
I believe we did. I'm not sure you were talking about it then.
To
I'm not
you,
sure.
I did. I must have to you only.
So, and I knew bipolar, not personally. I knew personally from experience with family and friends, and I knew what I felt. Not I knew what I hoped was that what you needed was support and understanding.
Okay.
That we are here for you. That you would not. I remember. Not much, but I remember saying to you, you would not be here if you couldn't do this.
Ah, shit, that's what she always says too.
Because you said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. And of course you could. You just didn't think so at the moment. And what you needed was, you know, the hands to hold you up, which we all need,
Right.
to say, you can do this. And I think Shelley was directing that day, the first day. I'm not sure.
Well, I think we're confusing a little bit here. The first day I came back is when I might have had this, and I was messed up. I'm talking about when I first started and I was acting. Like one time I told Shelley this, but I'll tell you this, and I'm sure you were in the booth, but I don't know, maybe.
Not always. But I
Right,
was-
but there was a particular, maybe you'll remember this is really cool. So Carrie Shane was on my lap.
Uh-huh.
She was telling me about, this is about 2 weeks in, she was telling me about her, or the character was telling me about her stepfather who abused her.
Right.
In that moment, I never seen the camera right there. In that moment, I start crying.
Uh-huh.
And I start figuring out that I was abused. Maurice.
Oh my God.
Forget Sonny. Also Sonny. Well, at that time we didn't know if Sonny was abused. But maybe they wrote it in or whatever. But yeah. But Maurice was going, because I was going through a breakdown. Maurice was thinking I was abused. So it must have been interesting to the audience because I'm supposed to be this bad, mean, evil guy, and he's emotional and almost crying that she's crying, but that's not the way it's supposed to be.
But it is, and here's why.
Yes.
Nobody is one-dimensional.
Right.
And no character is one-dimensional. And every bad guy or villain has a vulnerability. There's a reason why Sonny
Yes.
was the way he was. There's a reason why he made choices the way he did. And you can't, in life, blame other people for the choices, my feeling. But we can look at why we made those
Right.
choices and what can we learn from it and how can we grow.
Yes.
So no, that's a good bad guy. That's a flawed man
Completely.
with a heart.
Completely.
That's a flawed man with a heart.
And that was the beginning. And so I ended up quitting. The beauty of what you guys did was you were patient, and somebody else would have fired me. Let's just put the cards on the table. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Guy starts, 3 weeks later he quits and his wife's not telling them why. And then eventually she said it was a family problem. Then I was having a breakdown. But you guys did not fire me, which was beautiful. And then I went through what I went through. Treated her not good. I'm not proud of that. And then I came back, and the first day was with Shelley, and Shelley in the room. I said, I can't do it. Can't fucking do this at all. I can't even remember a line. And she said, never forget, she said, we're going to do it page by page, line by line, word by word if we have to. Now, this is where people who are mentally ill, when you think you can't do something, you have to understand, I walked out of that room having to go to a set. That was one of the hardest moments of my life. It truly was. And the fact that I could do it was, I don't know how. Even now I go, wow. But you can do it.
Right.
You can do it, and you can do it again,
Yep.
and you can do it again.
Yep. Yes.
All right, enough of that. Let's talk about the AIDS story.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. It was great stuff.
Yeah,
And
but it's important. It is important. I think what we're talking about, everybody feels, whether they are bipolar, have breakdowns, just have anxiety, is that when we feel weak,
yes,
we have to recognize it and just recognize why we're here and what we can do. And then it helps us to move forward. Not every moment. Sometimes you got to take a break, step back for a day or whatever. But it does help, no matter what level of mental chaos you're going
and
through.
you don't have to have mental illness. Anything,
Right.
A divorce, a death. You got to be able to apply all this. I think.
Absolutely.
The AIDS storyline, which to me, it was probably. I haven't seen every story in soap opera history, okay? But I would probably say it's one of the top 2 or 3 in history.
It was.
Yeah. What she did was with her patience again, her love, and how delicate. I remember just how you would come on and talk to people. And
It was very important. to me when I came on the show. Well, first of all, every story that we do, the way I approach things is everything I do has an impact. Everything I support, any project I do. And AIDS is hideous, and it was a time of judgments, and it was a horrible time, and I wanted to do something. I felt we had this great forum with an audience that loves these characters. What better way to tell a great story is, through these great characters. When Claire came on, one of the first things I said to her, after we talked about all the characters and storylines and all that, I said, I really want to do something like this, so let's think about it. It's important that it be with a beloved character. It's important that it be, not a new gay character brought on or somebody who's gay that we're just realizing, because it just, that people won't get it the way they can get it and need to. And she called me I think we were on the way back from some retreat, some ABC retreat, and she said she wanted to do it with, I think the thought was with Stone. She had this character Stone that was going to be, so she brought up the Stone, Jagger's brother, and something, and then we brought in Ron, in an affair with Ron. We talked for 3 hours on the way from Norwich, Connecticut to Brooklyn to Park Slope, and then she goes off and writes. And then we called ABC and talked about it, and I believe it was Pat Philly at the time. Yeah. And Pat Philly is one of the bravest executives I've ever known. She was wonderful to work with. Tough, brave, kind, girl from Queens. Yeah. So, she and I come from a very similar space of, we just don't we don't bullshit, we don't mess around. It's like everything's out in front. And she was very supportive. So Claire wrote, and the team wrote beautiful material. The viewers dropped out when they heard it. We did some publicity before it aired. We did a lot of publicity on it. It's an interesting discussion from a business standpoint, whether we should have just thrown it out there and not done the publicity, and whether the viewers would have stayed with it. But a lot of viewers tuned out because they didn't want to see AIDS, and that was our feeling. Like 100,000 viewers stopped. And that, then also the whole OJ thing.
No, the OJ thing
that
was
dropped
the killer.
A lot of viewers. But no, there was a definite turn off to the AIDS. We still got a lot of viewers, and more important, honestly, the mail that we got, the people that still will write to me and say, you saved my life, you saved my brother's life, I was able to come out, I was able to accept myself. That's priceless. You can't buy that.
No, that's why
that's the gift of this work.
It is the gift. So we're going to conclude this by talking about the Bay.
Yeah.
How's that going? And
it's great. We're in pre-production, start next week on the 7th season. 7th season. Gregory Martin is very, very unique.
Wow.
And he had this idea for this show. Well, he'll tell you. Have him on.
Yeah.
And he can tell you. Years ago. And he put it together. He made it happen. He has won numerous awards for excellence. He created, writes, produces, directs. He's terrific. And this is the 7th season.
Damn.
We did a portion in Puerto Rico.
No.
And now the next 10 days we'll be filming here. And then integrate the Puerto Rican footage with the LA
Who
footage.
does he know in Puerto Rico to get that deal? That's expensive. Because we went to with Vanessa.
Oh my goodness! How great was that?
That was phenomenal.
That was phenomenal.
And on the way back from that, we'll go back to that. But on the way back from Puerto Rico, that's when Vanessa came to me, and I had these thoughts in my head. I'm like, she's got to get better. That was just my thought. And I know if she gets better, we can
kill it.
Yeah. And I said to her, I said, Vanessa, do you want to be a good actress or do you want to be a great actress? She goes, why do you say that? I said, well, because right now you're a good actress, but if you want to be great, I think you just need to work on it. And I'll help you, and I'll
push you.
And she was so gung-ho, Vanessa.
Yeah, good.
And it was great. And it was fantastic, whatever happened.
She's great. I love Vanessa.
So back to the Bay.
So the Bay. So he, anyway, this is his baby, his dream, and we're in the 7th season. He wanted me to come on board, and I couldn't at the time when he first started it.
Oh.
And then after a couple of years, he called me again and said, I really want you to come on, go see what I've done. And I watched it, and we met again and talked about it, and came on as a consultant and then an executive producer with he and Christos, and now we're co-writing it. So it's been, on a personal, professional level, a great growth spurt for me.
That's amazing.
To write,
yeah,
to get on the other side, which I did a little bit of before this, but not like this. Not when he says I need this, or rewrite this. I mean, he does most of it.
I have an actor, I don't know if you're interested. I believe this actor is going to win an Academy Award. I really do. And not because I'm close to this actor, just because I know what acting is. And so maybe my son could, I don't know if you're interested. We'll talk about it.
I was going to say, I thought it would be someone whose name began with a J.
Well, we'll
Which
see.
is a good initial.
Yeah. So.
And not only can he act.
Oh, no, he sings and all that.
He can sing. And he's not bad looking.
And he's not bad looking, yeah. He actually, I heard his song that he's recording.
Yeah.
And I'm very honest, and I hate that I'm so honest, but so he has me listen to it, then he's walking all over the room because he thinks I'm going to, not like it, or he's nervous. And I was going, shit.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Like the writing, the way he sings it.
Well, you got to be honest.
I know.
It's still subjective.
Yeah, and be nice when you're on.
But it's good to be honest.
Yeah.
Hello, puppy. Come here.
All right, Wendy.
All right.
This has been, I'll tell you what it's been. It's been easy, right? Mm-hmm. And when it's easy, that means it's good, I think. I think it's been amazing. And it's like, 28 years ago to now, it's like we're in the office.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you.
No,
making
it feels exactly the same. But it's 28 years
wow.
later. It is 28 years later. We do age. And we have to grab these good moments when we can.
Yeah.
And I'm really so glad. That's why I wanted to be here, is to be with you and Paula again, because it's been so long and it's so comfortable when it is. So.
All right.
So this is good.
We're good. And thank you,
you.
Wendy, for being my therapist today. And thank you, sweetheart.
I love you too. So you.
Yeah.
How are you doing with what you're personally going through that I have gone through?
Oh, my
and
dad?
With your dad.
Well,
can't be easy.
Yeah, he got Alzheimer's when I was doing the Alzheimer's story, which was, it was what it was. And it was good for the acting because I wasn't really acting, I was living. And but it was, so maybe it prepared me for what's happening with my dad. And then I had another storyline where this older guy gets pancreatic cancer, and then my dad gets pancreatic.
Jeez.
I don't know how this.
Really?
Yeah, 1 in a million. And so now, my dad's, at the end of his road. Mm-hmm. And the most important part that I'm learning is you just have to stay in the moment. Mm-hmm. If you stay in the moment, you're going to be all right. It's when you go over here with the thoughts, you let your thoughts start taking you. I'm not going to have my dad anymore. Yeah. And your thoughts can go there. It's all right to have that thought. It just can't stay there. It can't stay there.
Right.
So I'm in a real good state of mind. I think that's another God. God gave me the right time for
Yeah.
all this going on.
Yeah, yeah. It's the hardest thing to go through. At least it was for me to lose my father. And no matter how much I prepared, he wasn't sick for a long time, but I knew what was happening. There is no preparation.
Yeah.
You can't prepare because the jolt of loss
Yes.
is profound. And don't hold yourself back from whatever you're feeling.
Right.
I know
right.
you know that.
Yeah.
I think I cried every 15 minutes, and my husband would hold me, and I'd say, I love you, but I don't think I'm ever going to feel joy again in my life.
Damn.
And he said to me over and over, he said, you are so fortunate to love so much and to have been loved.
Yeah.
He didn't have that.
Right.
And so his understanding of it was a great support. And it just, you just have to let it all just work itself out. It's yours. It will. I lost my brother when I was 9 years old. And to this day, of polio. So if anybody out there is unvaccinated, get your vaccine. Because there was no polio vaccine at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, life goes on. We move, you know, life goes on. I learned what that meant. But that feeling of that missing, that loss, it's just whatever you're feeling now that you can go there, you don't want to go there, but it's always going to be there, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We then stay in the present.
That's it.
That was the key that you said, and that's to me, whether it's dealing with life, anything, not just death.
Yes.
Being in the present moment allows us to be with each other right now.
Right. Right.
Allows you to be with the checkout person at Trader Joe's.
Right.
You know, where they're having a lousy day, and you go, "How you doing?"
And you hear
and
that,
you look them in the eye, and you go, "How are you doing today?" They go,
Right.
"Oh, it's pretty blech." And how are you? And I'm like, "I don't know, it's pretty blech too."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we both feel better.
Yes.
So,
And you hear that, you know, in the Eckhart Tolle, the book that I followed him for. But it's so true, man, because it's that other thing that you allow. Because I know from anxiety and everything, the thoughts start taking you over, and then you're.
Well, then first of all, you can't hear anybody.
No.
Because all you're doing is you're thinking of what am I going to say, or I don't want to say anything, or whatever, and you're not even listening to somebody. I mean, families do this all the time.
Yes.
We all do this.
Yes.
I mean, this is some beauty in writing, is how you do that, and that's why people will scream, "You're not listening to me," in a family or in a scene or something like that, because you're not. I deal with that.
But that's the key, and maybe this is helping me in my life to be so present.
Yeah. I think this is because what you're doing, you have to be present with the person that you're doing it with. And it reminds you each time to be there.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And the cameras don't matter.
No.
I mean, because we're not thinking about that.
No.
It's more about this.